parked next to a restaurant, and my car's just been all closed up, and the smell of grease and food next to a restaurant-y, it's not tingling the nose like you'd want. I've had a reoccurring memory of when I first got introduced to indoor volleyball, and I initially recorded one just on the little memo app app on my phone. Tried emailing it to me and uploading it, but it's not compatible or whatever. So versus just recording a little speaker off my computer with this, which I probably do also, but I might just try and recreate and remember it. And I remember the thing that always sticks out most vividly is when I went to my brother's match in Ventura. I'm sure I've mentioned my brother before, but he's older than me by 3.5 years. But we did go to high school for 1 year together. So when he was a senior, I was a freshman. But now that I say that, what do I mean by that? I mean, when he was a freshman, I was in like 6th grade. And I would always go to all his sporting events, and he'd probably come to half of mine. I don't think the sibling attending each other's sporting events goes evenly both ways. I think if you're a younger sibling, you go to much more games of your older sibling than vice versa if you're the older one for the youngers. So anyways, needless to say, I went to a lot of soccer and basketball and baseball, t-ball, and then eventually volleyball games growing up, because I had an older brother that is a great athlete and was back then, and he did a lot, and we both played a lot of sports growing up, did a lot of active things. My brother also became really into surfing and water sports and stuff, and I tried my hand at surfing also, but I was more of a bodyboarder. But I was more of a skateboarder than my brother ever was. He was just a cruiser, but I got into the technical and freestyle street skating, not vert or anything, but that'll be a story for another day. But so when I was in 6th grade, my brother played volleyball. It was his freshman year at school, and so the vision, the memory of volleyball that's just imprinted in my mind, imprinted, is when we went down to Ventura. Must have been one of the first matches of the season, and we watched them play, and I don't remember being impressed at all with frosh soft volleyball. I remember a lot of balls getting freed over, a lot of shanked passes, a lot of serves being missed, a lot of balls being swung to the back wall or in the net, and just not super impressive at all. And I'm trying to remember anything from the JV level, but I'm sure there was. It's definitely a step up. You see kids actually running and spiking. You see some sort of digging, but what I remember most was when I got to go. That we stayed for the varsity match, and this was in 1996, and so there was a few guys on this team that would be on the team the following year and the one after it, which happened to be two of the best seasons of our high school's boys volleyball program. We won our own tournament in 1997, the Dos Pueblos Invitational. It was the 23rd annual Dos Pueblos Invitational, and the first time and the only time we've ever won it. So that was a big deal. In the following year, in 1998, that's when we won Division II CIF, and we put a banner up, and that's the only boys volleyball banner that our school has earned. And so these 2 years, I didn't know it at the time, but I didn't know how lucky I was that I got to be a part of the program on the final creep up to what would be the most successful portion of the program to date. And so I remember watching the varsity, and there was a dude named Cameron Mount, and he was probably about 6'7" or 6'8", and then there was also a dude named Jeff Fainer, who was also probably about 6'4", 6'5", played middle blocker, and there was a dude named Brent Gregerson that was not 6 anything. I really think he was about 5'8", 5'9". He definitely didn't look like he was over 6 feet. But I remember those two guys, and then now I'm thinking about it, Ty Thorson was on that team too, because Ty was same grade as my brother, but he was on varsity for all 4 years, which is tight. But I remember, Brent Gregerson, because he was an outside, and then Alan Mount was an outside. So there was one outside that was 6'8", and one outside that was about 5'10", but the little guy flew, and the big guy didn't fly, but he just was this ginormous condor of a man that would jump up, open up his wingspan, and just drop a full hammer. And I just remember I had never witnessed anything where every play was a full-on home run on one side of the court, and that's the way that they vocally played. If the other team served out, they were hooting and hollering and just super, super excited and being super loud, and the phrase "Hey!", which you'll hear a lot at volleyball tournaments, that was just what I heard. And so I saw a 6'8" dude just annihilating the ball and turning around and just celebrating with his teammates like they just won the Super Bowl or the Stanley Cup or Wimbledon or whatever. You fill in the blank with whatever championship you want to fill in. But I remember just watching that and getting so exciting, just wanting them to do it again, or I think probably remembering all the different ways that you could celebrate, because you could block someone, you could lip someone, you could hammer it, you could ace them. There was so much volume, excitement, and aggression, and it just looked like so much fun. And the freshman level didn't, but I could tell, like, okay, you really gotta put in some work to get up to this level. And that memory of that match, that first match, is so vivid. And every time we went and played at Ventura High School, I would always reflect and remember that. And half the time I would remember to tell everybody that this is my second favorite gym in the world, because this is where obviously my home gym, Sovine, is my favorite gym, but my second favorite is Ventura. I believe it's the Tuttle gym, and that's where I saw it go down, and that's what I got hooked. That's what really just caught my interest, and from that point on, I couldn't wait to go to high school and play that sport and be a part of that energy at some point in my life. And it was a long 3 years of waiting, and but man, that just sticks out so vividly, and that's really what piqued my interest in the sport. And then going to the varsity tournament with my dad and my brother for the next 3 years, and just staying all day, and me and my dad watching from, I want to say, like 9 or 10 to 9 or 10 at night, and just me and my dad could watch sports all day. And we have many times. But I remember just falling in love with the sound, and what a sport to just observe. It's just a great observational sport too. And if there wasn't so many popular sports in our society, I think men's volleyball would be a lot more popular, and it's just not introduced to boys early enough, really. And there's a lot of misnomers, like it's a girl sport or something. But if you've ever seen someone get the ball swung into their face and see their nose start bleeding, it's pure indication that it's a dangerous it's a dangerous thing. And that's really when I got introduced to volleyball. My mom always says she taught my brother enough to make the team in the backyard, and I remember them like peppering and her showing him how to do a platform and set the ball. And so I had seen it and I knew about it, but I never saw the finished product, which was just ginormous human beings. And I've been convinced we haven't had a squad of boys that big ever. I mean, the starting squad of the year that we won CIF in the 97-98 school year was, Dan Hofer was probably 6'6". Britt Johnson was probably 6'5", 6'6". We had Kapina O'Neill, who was a guy that only came out and played 1 year, his senior year, but he was 6'8". Ginormous Samoan dude, played middle blocker, shoot. Even T. Penny was like 6'3". And David Sears and even Jeff Greening coming off the bench, serving some BBs and playing defense, was still like 6'2". So I think the shortest dudes on the team were a couple of the defensive specialists. There were a couple Asian dudes, and they were, 5'7" to 5'9" or something, maybe even shorter. But and then Ty and Jess Lilleman, the two setters, about 6'3", 6'2", 6'4"-ish. We were just huge. We were huge dudes. It was a different game that year too. It was still side out scoring back then. But man, we had the horses. We had so many big dudes, and I just don't think we've had enough big guys like that since. And I gotta go somewhere else to get gas. And I'm driving around, and I'm supposed to be getting gas, but I'm nerding out on my introduction to to volleyball. And I went to that CIF final also. There's video of it on YouTube, and it's very grainy, and so I can't even find myself. But me, my brother, my mom, and my dad all went. That was my brother's junior year, and it's really a shame because my brother got held back in first grade, and had he not gotten held back, he would have been on that team, and he would have been a senior on the team that won CIF, and I still would have went. But then we wouldn't have got to go to high school for 1 year together, so that would have been shitty. But yeah, there's one banner for boys volleyball, one banner for girls volleyball, and I think we are on the edge of possibly putting up one or two this next year. Better chance for the girls squad, not gonna lie, just because we've got two girls that are phenomenal beach players, and they play together, and they haven't lost in something like, 2 years or something. And we're in Division 4, I think, which is doable if we can just get a couple girls to play middle to take up space. But I just want to be part of that. I know how exciting it is to have your program go up to the top. And it was, over 20 years ago when I went, I was just I was like an 8th grader, but it still was just so amazing. And I just can't stop thinking about that I want a banner for our school. I know most of it's ego driven, but also I just want it to be a testament of how fun the sport is, and how fun a time I've had playing and coaching. Probably more so coaching. I've been coaching at school now, going on I think my 12th or 13th year, and I only played for 4 years. But you can just tell, like, I just know when I find my guys or my girls, whichever gender I'm coaching, when I get them in that sweet spot, it's so much fun to watch them figure it out and compete. And it was hard. It was hard this year to not be around at the end of the season, but I only have a daughter so many times, and so I made the right decision. And I think I'm going to end this video before I start crying. I can feel the emotions creeping up, and yeah, I think for Thoughts 14, I think we're gonna cut it off right here. But there's gonna be plenty more to discuss about banners and what we need to do. But thanks. Have a good one.